And welcoming you back to Go. Another new feature at Cinemental this year is a new mobile app. And joining us right now is one of the creators of that app from Zenfry, a local organization. It's Corey King joining us. Corey, first of all, for those of us who are not really aware, what is Zenfry?
Zenfry is a creative arts and entertainment company that I built with my wife. Zenfry is actually our two online handles merged together. And it represents our creative process. And we've done everything from publish books to make our own films actually. But we're mostly widely known for a game called Clandestine Anomaly, which was a Pokemon, like a sci-fi epic version of Pokemon Go that came out an entire year before Pokemon Go. So we're a little bit ahead of the curve. We didn't make the billions of dollars, but we're still proud to be sort of an innovative company here in Winnipeg.
So this is an example of augmented reality, correct?
That's
Can
right.
you explain what augmented reality is?
So I think now it's easier because everyone knows mostly what Pokemon Go is. Essentially, augmented reality is when you're looking through your camera phone and you see something else superimposed into your environment. In the case of Pokemon Go, a Pokemon. In the case of this game, we'll sort of show you it uses a slightly different version of the technology. But essentially, it's about layering digital information into the real world that doesn't normally exist. It's sort of like, the world becomes its own way of telling stories and having interesting things that aren't normally there.
Before we get to this app, you keep bringing up Pokemon and the craze that it was this summer. What did that do for you guys? Was it a good thing, bad thing for a smaller company like you?
Well, Pokemon Go for us in the long run, I think, is going to be a great thing because the hard part when we released our last game, which was like Pokemon Go, is everyone just thought we were these crazy kooks from Winnipeg making this thing that was not a very common thing. But now that it's been so successful, you say, hey, we do that, and businesses and other people in the community are sort of more receptive. We don't need to explain anymore all of these things. We just say, this is like Pokemon Go. And in fact, the app for Cinemental has a Pokemon Go style component to it, which is we've placed throughout the city posters like this. There's 33 of them that go through the history of Cinemental, and we have a whole app that sort of, in the app there's all the locations marked, and you come to the locations, you scan it. When you scan it, it will transform from, say, this is 2006. When you scan this with your phone, it'll change into the actual event poster of Cinemental from 2006 and unlock a bunch of history. And the people at Cinemental have been nice enough to also reward people for doing it. Every 5 you unlock, you get a chance at a raffle for season tickets for this year if you get them by this weekend, and next year if you get them by the end of the festival.
So how long did it take to really create this app and come up with the ideas like you just mentioned? Was it a long process or does it come together pretty quick?
It was quite a bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I sort of have a tendency of being, I don't know, I overscope what I say I'm going to do. So basically, we only had to do 25 posters to represent the 25 years of Cinemental, but we found so much interesting stuff in Francophone history, like about the architect who made, the Provencher walking bridge and also made the Mint. He's had a film that was in the film festival. The Gabrielle Roy, the famous author, has had films about her as well. There's just so many interesting characters and interesting tidbits of history that we couldn't just do 25. We ended up doing 33 and deep diving so that there's over 50 pages of history that you'll unlock. You don't obligated to read it, but you'll unlock through the festival because we became so fascinated and interested. And I almost feel like a little bit as an Anglophone, I was like, wait a second. There's all this cool stuff happening just across the river, and I didn't know about any of it. I feel a little bit, slightly ripped off about that, but people can go through the app and learn about how interconnected this community is, and that's really what became passionate, interesting to me. And it took longer than we thought, but we're pretty proud of what we did, and we think now we have something, whereas the first game I made was sort of this big, elaborate, expensive production. We have something now that can be delivered to other festivals and other companies at a lot cheaper.
All right, well, we can't wait to see it. Now, where can folks go then to download it and get it on their phone?
Sure, you basically go to the festival website, cinemental.com/app, which is pretty simple, and find French and English versions. There'll be links there to the Google Play or the App Store, and you can also, of course, search Cinemental 25 on either of the stores.
Corey King, thank you so much for joining us. A great new addition to Cinemental. Coming up next on Go, Tracy Koga with the band Papa Roach.